Hello and welcome to Assorted Meeples. I'm Philip the Meeple on duty, and today is the first installment of the monthly Meeple. Alright, let's just jump into our first bits of news and everything. First up, we have, just like Hasbro laying off a large chunk of its staff in the right before Christmas, we have Riot Games and we have Blizzard Activision laying off a bunch of people as well. There are tons of references to these things. Go check them out if you want. Also, very quietly, which most people don't know, the owners of Asmodee have been laying off people from other companies, not Asmodee at the moment, but it is something to be aware of that company is also cutting costs where it can, and for whatever reason, personnel is the first thing to go. So, yeah. Another really big piece of information, CMON is buying 2 more IPs from Mythic Games, and they are taking over the, at this point, we're just going to call them failed Kickstarters for, I can't remember the two, but they're taking over. The Mythic Games put out an update saying, hey, this is happening, and then shortly thereafter, CMON, with permission from Mythic Games, released an update as well. The best CMON could do for the people was a base game copy when they rework it. Most likely we will see those 2 campaigns that failed because Mythic spent their money really weird. I have quite a lot of questions, but the only games I backed from Mythic I got, so I am not in a place to be too mad. So, first off, let's go over to Shane and see what he's doing in his corrupted corner.
Thanks, Phil. I say completely disingenuinely, as you finally pass it off to someone with a little bit of charisma to bring in the gaming news for this month. So anyway, hey all Meeples, Meeple supporters, patrons, cool people watching. So anyhow, for the kind of update of what I am currently up to, board games, not much. That's kind of way more Phil's area, so I don't have anything in particular I'm looking at there. But for the tabletop RPGs, Kickstarter, I am backing the quintessential guide to monster encounters by Mr. Trask. If you have not checked him out on YouTube, and I believe Dungeon Dad and some other YouTube channels kind of came together on this. Super cool project. Look forward to showing that off in hopefully the near-term future. Along with that, working with Nathan, one of our patrons, and the fill-in for me while I will be gone for some amount of time. We're working on kind of a alternative universe Route 66 tabletop RPG. It's going to be a long-term project, so I will probably have that in every update for the next 20 months, but rest assured, it is moving. We already have 50,000 words of first draft material, and a brand new appreciation for people who create new systems from start to finish, because, holy cow, guys. But we're doing it, it's going to be fun, and it's going to rock. So video games. I actually had a little bit of breathing room before starting the new job, and so started playing Sunhaven from Recommendations with Syneth, and I am loving it. If you tend to love those cozy game RPGs, I will say this. I hesitated on it a long time because it was kind of pricier as the $24 to $30 end of indie, whereas a lot of us are looking for that $15 game. So if you're wondering if Sunhaven is worth it at the $30 mark, it absolutely is. So I'm about 15 hours into it and having a heck of a time, and from what I'm seeing of it, there's just a lot more to dive into. It's going to be a lot of fun, and so that's going to be something I'm playing in my limited time. So my time at Sandrock, one thing I will say, if you are a Nintendo Switch player, do not buy the game. Like, I have heard that repeatedly from other YouTubers. The Switch it's a very graphic intensive game. Like, it takes a lot of rendering, and from everything I've heard from other cozy game YouTubers, it looks terrible on the Switch. Like, it's literally, if you play this on PC, it's A+. If you play it on Switch, it's F. It's that big a deal. And I can tell you from switching computers from the one we called the Potato to a nice gaming PC, I instantly saw the difference in how much better the game is. So if you're getting my time at Sandrock for PC, I give it a 9 out of 10. Solid A grade. Definitely worth the 100 plus hours of content. If it's on Switch, skip it. You are much better off going with games that will actually work with that platform, because I don't see a way they're going to make it more playable. I just think there's too big a gap between what you need and then how that works. So, through that, we're working on getting the video game YouTube channel portion of Assorted Meeples off the ground. So cool stuff going there. If you like Coral Island, the 1.0 is released. I played the pre-alpha for 30 hours. It was amazing. They keep filling in the stuff. It keeps getting better and better. So if you're into the farm sim stuff and you can take 200, 300, 400 hours of your life and go ahead and lose that without being too panicked, there you go. Coral Island should absolutely be your next one. And despite all the pestering from Almighty Falker, I will eventually play Baldur's Gate 3. I really need to make sure I have the rest of my life in order before I go to that time sink. Also, very much looking forward to, don't know if it's Palea or Palia, but I know we already have people in the Discord going for that one. And the only other bit of gaming news that's really on my radar for this month, it's a blast from the past. So unfortunately, it came from one of those bad news where a small publisher got acquired by a big one and then just poofed. But one of those publishers actually made the Banner Saga, which was the game that got me back into indie gaming around 2012, 2013 on Steam. So if you missed that one the first time, which a lot of people did, if you love the old school RPGs, the fantasy setting, beautiful, unique background art, kind of the Norse mythology, Banner Saga 1, 2, and 3, like, they're not super special at this point, because a lot of the stuff they were doing that was newish, that was now 12 years ago, 15 years ago, because what is time? But it was a great trilogy of games. They were developed indie all the way. And it just kind of goes to show, give that love to the old indie studios. So if you missed that the first time and you want something on sale that's really interesting, that sounds like kind of your kick, I highly recommend that. Banner Saga 1, 2, and 3 is the full trilogy. And beyond that, let's see, professional. Suck it, Phil. Back to you.
Thank you, Shane. And speaking of upcoming Kickstarters, let's go on and take a look at those really quick. There are a few I want to bring to your attention. First off is a game called Knee Deep in Hexes, which is a little bit hard to say and remember. This is a first-time producer, and what they are going for with this one is a RTS feel on the board game or on your tabletop with a deck builder elements. I am probably getting into this one, but I don't know for sure. I have to see final price tags because there's a few other things that are coming that I really would like to pick up as well. But yeah, from everything I've seen, it looks like they're doing a very good job. The miniatures are good. The only thing I could see that possibly is going to bring up some questions for me is this board right here in the picture is a solid board. Now, I would like a modular board for something like this where you can spin it up and mix it up just to keep the game fresh. Next up is Forge Flame by Lord Raccoon Games. I love these guys. This one is opening up. Knee Deep in Hexes is coming on next Monday on February 4th. Flame Forge by Lord Raccoon Games is coming February 20th. And this is their next game that they're putting out, and I am excited for it. I don't have a ton of details on what it is. I just know you are more shenanigans from these guys, and these guys create great shenanigans in what they're doing. I really enjoy, yeah, the tagline is explore the depths of the mines, collect precious ores, and craft artifacts. It's going to be fun. Legends of the in the Mist RPG. I don't have an exact date on this one. I know it is fairly soon, but it has right now. It's got 7,000 followers. So whether that turns over into backers or not, I don't know. But they are taking their City of Mist RPG setting, which is set in a modern era with superpowers and stuff like that, and they are scaling it back to a medieval scale, and they're building out an entire starter world so you don't have to homebrew everything. I am watching this one because that's more my jam. I'm not necessarily a modern RPG fan. I like, if I'm going to do fantasy, I'm going to do full fantasy. That's just my thing. Although I would love a modern magic RPG, if that makes sense. So I'm watching this one. I'm very interested in what it does. I need to do more research on City of Mist and really see how that game plays out. I need to look if there's an actual play of that in a campaign set in the City of Mist. Next up, we have two that I'm watching. Tokyo Highway has a new Rainbow City, which is adding some very cool things. Other objects. They're also creating everything so it's got a little bit more of a grip, because this is not necessarily about building until it falls over, but it is about building and scoring points by the end of the game. They are going to be doing some other fun things. So you'll have new objects to build on top of, different car types, new, like you can have mission rules and things like that. I'm looking forward to this one. I have the base game. I like the base game play that we got. I was a little mad at it, and we haven't pulled it out because I touched it and it blew up, and I couldn't get it to go back together, so I lost the game. And this is actually extremely reasonably priced. If you just want the expansion, it's $21. If you want to get the base game and the expansion, you're looking at $45 total, which is really good for what you're getting. And I don't know 100% if it all fits into the new box, but they're saying the new box is going to be smaller anyways. I want to do some digging to see if it will all fit in one box, and I might cave and buy another set and sell off my Tokyo Highway copy. And then the last one that has my interest, just because I love the concept of the game of EVE Online. I just do not have the time, patience, or Excel spreadsheet skills to make that game work for me. But they are bringing it to tabletop. Now, the producers that are producing it, Titan, where is it? Titan 4 Game. I went and looked them up, and they have some pretty cool stuff, and they've done good in the past. So there is that, and this is expensive. They're not even bashful. This is expensive, and you are going in because you like the IP and you like what they're doing with this game overall, knowing it's another 4X game. If 4X is your jam and you just can't get enough of them, definitely give this one a look. You can spend anywhere from $140 plus your shipping all the way up to $430 plus the shipping costs and all that stuff, and probably some add-ons if you want them. But that's all I have for the news this week on Kickstarter and crowdfunding. I need to quit saying Kickstarter because we have Kickstarter, we have Indiegogo, we have that. I don't know anybody uses that. We have GameFound, which is honestly doing a lot of really cool stuff and quite a few things better than Kickstarter currently is. And we also have BackerKit, which is doing fairly well because GameFound is opening up people to using more different sources from just Kickstarter. There are clearly more campaigns that I'm missing. Those are the ones that I personally am excited for. And Shane mentioned the one, the Monsters uh, manual that is coming out from Dungeon Dads and other a few other people collaborating. Which, boy howdy, Dungeon Dad, if you don't know him, is fabulous. Let's go to Braden and see what he's up to on the business end.
Thank you, Phil. Well, as far as gaming news for me this month, board games, I don't really have a lot to report on. I've got Project L sitting up on the shelf that came in last month. I'm really looking forward to breaking that out. And I've gotten a couple of board game articles out on the Assorted Meeples website if you haven't been by over there in a little while. I've done some deep dives into the rules and strategies for Blockus and Quinto, so recommend checking that out, assortedmeeples.com. As far as video game news is not super exciting at first. I mean, I've mostly been video gaming on stream, so Monday randos on Twitch, and then for the Tuesday indie or retro games, I've been going through Mega Man 11 the last couple weeks. Boy, that's a hard game compared to all of the other Mega Man games, but we're making good progress. I think I'm going to finish it out probably in the first Tuesday stream of February. So, looking forward to that. Either that or it'll be the last one of January. One of the two. I'm hitting my stride with that game at this point. We're at endgame. More exciting news on the video game front. I sent my Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, the latter of which wasn't working, off to get a tune-up and looked at. It sounds like they'll be coming back within the next couple weeks, so I'm excited to have those on hand for video game streams moving forward. The Sega Genesis is especially exciting as I didn't have access to one of those growing up, really. Like, I think we had one in the house because of Grandma's video game rental business at one point, but I never really got to play it. So that library is largely unexplored for me. So if you've got recommendations for games that I should be looking at on the Sega Genesis, let me know in the comments below. I'm real excited to start digging into what that library has to offer. And then the last bit of gaming news I've got is Magic the Gathering related. I've been working on a new Commander deck featuring Relentless Rats, finally fulfilling a 15-year dream of being able to build a deck with those little jerks. I'm really excited about the playtesting I've done, been tweaking the deck. I'll have a link to the deck list in the description below if you're interested in looking at my shenanigans. And more importantly, I am also gearing up for MagicCon Chicago at the end of February. I believe that runs the 23rd to the 25th, so if you're going to be in the area, feel free to say hello if you happen to see me wandering around there. Real excited to check out the on-demand events and Artist Alley, so those will probably be the areas that I'm most likely to frequent. Beyond that, not a whole lot else to report, so I'll kick it back to you, Phil.
Thank you, Brandon, for that. Speaking of CCG news, a new Lorcana set is about to drop towards the end of February. This will be the third set that they have dropped since it came out last at Gen Con, and it is starting to get more organized play support and really developing into a game that has some longevity. From watching content creators when it first came out at Gen Con, while a lot of people wanted it, it was lacking a little bit in refinement for what experienced CCG players are used to. What have I been up to? I've been busy playing with kids, with my wife, and all that stuff. We got Felicity, my youngest, a bunch of games, one of which was Throw Burrito. Turns out that game is ridiculous good fun as long as you have the space to play it, and our kids have figured out that you do not have to stay around the table. You can run for it, and it becomes a game of dodgeball real fast, and it is hilarious now that they've figured it out. With Heather, we've been working through our 10x5 challenge games. I do need to get that template uploaded as a PDF for people in our Discord, which, by the way, if you're not, our Patreon is there. $1 gets you into our Discord. $5 gets you into our game nights, a guaranteed spot in our game nights. We're welcome to all of our community, but the larger it grows, the more those game nights become a challenge to organize for everybody to play at once. But we have such an amazing community over on Discord. You should join us. Blockus Duo, we have found out, is going to be an absolute bloodbath, as she caught on instantly into the ways of murder and blocking and great games. I won the first two, which she doesn't necessarily have the experience on Blockus that I do, so a little bit of skewed towards me, but she went from real lopsided to pretty even. I don't know what the third game is going to entail. We also played 5211 a couple of times, and Heather got her first win of the challenge. We're 5 games in at this point. I am expecting 2 games. Actually, they're out for delivery as of January 31st, so I should be picking them up today. I don't know if they're packaged together or if it's just one game. I just know it's a 7.5 pound box, and I don't know a game that size that's coming. So I'm very curious to know if it's 2 games in one or just one game. And then I have 2 more that are coming relatively soon. Those are Foundations of Rome and hopefully Primal. They're only going to get... They've already acknowledged they're not getting all the games on ships before the Chinese New Year. So I'm hoping my name is one of those 60% that are of fulfillment that are going to get out before then. But we'll see. I'm curious. I want to play that one because it looks so much fun. I'm a bit daunted by the fact that it is a campaign boss battler setup, and I've never got to play one of those, so this will be my first experience, and it's a deck builder, so it'll hopefully get me better at those skills. The biggest problem is I gotta find a lot of space before they get here, which means I need to really step up getting my idea for Marvel United squared away and get put away. Let's jump over and see what the old man Callahan is ranting about right now.
Thanks, Phil, you T-Rex-armed, hairy Hobbit Neanderthal hybrid. Let's talk about current events in gaming. For me, that includes teaching my son poker, which he does not get it. Going beyond the whole rank of hands issue or when to bet, raise, and fold, which he does not do, I have found that he just has an inkling to call or raise on everything without picking up when that's a good or a bad thing. He does not know what a good or starting hand is, and I have advised him to never play for money. Let's see, what else? Current events for me. I have nothing in the works regarding Kickstarter or anything else. Right now, I just play nightly games with my wife. We play Splendor, is one of our primary games of choice, which I am happy to say that we are on equal standing. It's about even keel when I win and she wins, and they're always really close games. Love that game if you haven't played it or checked it out. There's both electronic, and the board game itself is fairly affordable to get. We combine that with, we've been playing Century Golem Edition. She does not like that game, specifically because I always win. But she has now figured out how the engines work and how to cycle up and down using these small to larger ones. So she's been turning the tide there, and it's been very close. Very proud of the progress that she's made on that. I've been encouraging us to play more. She still doesn't enjoy it because she gets really close and doesn't win. But I cannot throw it. I cannot cheat her of the actual victories when she's actually doing that. other games. Pollen. We play Pollen on a regular basis. It's one of the newer games that just came out over Kickstarter. It's a lot of fun. It's a combination of a placement game where you're competing for various pollinating bugs and stuff like that. We're very even on that game. Right out of the box, she knew the strategies and everything else, so there was no no cycle in having to maintain that. We've been throwing in some Carcassonne lately, and she is learning how to invade other farmers' fields. My fields, because we only play each other, which is the thing that she hated about the game before. She never liked playing, but she's learning how to do it and to look out for it to prevent people from doing that to her. So, Carcassonne is also a classic. If you haven't ever played it, seriously check it out. Most recently, I had one of the worst butt kickings of all time at Mountain Goats. Despite a last minute suck out on Big Mountain from me, she still crushed me by like double the points and cleared out all of the 8s. Not cool, but it is what it is, and very, very proud and happy to play with her. So that is what I have for current gaming announcements. For the future of gaming, VR. My kids love VR, and although it's not my cup of hot, dirty water, it is pretty neat. If anybody hasn't seen some of the recent posts for the Apple Vision Pro and what it can do, you should definitely check out some of the stuff that they're posting there. The entry price level is a bit steep at $3,500, but it's always going to be that way for early adopters of technology. I see that price coming down within the next few years to an affordable level, and it's going to be great. If you combine that with the new Disney Hollow Tile floors, we are this close to having Ready Player One. What I want to know is why I don't have that right now. I've worked a long time to get my Wally-style chair, have them self-serve virtual tacos to me. I think I deserve it, and I would like to talk to a congressman or somebody of that nature. Let's see. What else do they got out there? That's the one that I think is going to be the biggest to pick up on. Is VR. Within the next 5 years, I think that's going to actually take off. It looked like it was going to take off there. The technology just wasn't quite there yet, and I think now we've got the right mix that we're going to start seeing some of that really, really cool stuff take place. Keep an eye on that. And back to you, Phil.
Thank you, Callahan. Rants like that are only possible because of your support. So thank you. Fuzzybucks, Kronos, Tribbles, Beelzebuddy, who is our newest $10 patron, Trident Dragonite, and Madclaw. Thank you guys for your continued support from the beginning, and the whole community. Thank you. You guys power what we're able to do and really influence what we're a part of. If you missed it and you want to go back and watch it, it was a great fun. We had Nate, who's going to be sitting in for Shane for a few months while Shane has to go on to second shift because he got a job. So, and that was the openings they had. So we'll see when Shane can come back to playing games with us. But till then, we have Nate, who kind of brought himself in on a 3-shot with all 4 of us playing. You can watch the VODs on either Twitch or YouTube, because we are simulcasting now on Thursday nights. We use Nate's Homebrew World, our Homebrew Dungeon, with 5e Dungeons and Dragons 5e rules. Go ahead and check that out if you want to. And we will see you guys next month with what we're up to. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
If you like what you just saw, please support us by hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel for more great gaming content.